Before everything in my life turns blue. Hey there, I'm Olivia. Thanks so much for joining me today. Today we're going to be talking all about blue eyeshadow and specifically how to make it a little bit less scary. Now personally, I'm someone that absolutely loves color. I wear colorful eyeshadow all the time. I mean, I wear a lot of neutrals too, but I don't mind having something really bright thrown into the mix. But I know a lot of people are a little bit more wary of color, or maybe you have a job where you really can't be wearing super bright, like in your face makeup all the time. So partly because I just recently bought the Colourpop Blue Moon palette, which I've been very much enjoying. It's super fun, but also because I got a blue eyeshadow in my latest Ipsy bag. So I had gotten the shade Top Out, which is kind of a teal, dark shimmery blue color. And I was just thinking about it because I know lots of people would have gotten that same shade. And I know a lot of people, like I said, are a little bit hesitant about exactly how to use blue shadow. So I thought it would be kind of fun today to do a look that is incorporating this particular shade because other people have probably gotten it, but in a way that's not just like 80s explosion. You know what I mean? So let's get started. I've already done my base and I kind of primed my eyes just using the concealer and powder that I had on the rest of my face, but you could definitely use another eyeshadow primer first if you wanted to. To get things started though, I want to take kind of a mid-tone brown to work into the crease. Now you can use any eyeshadow that you wanted to, but kind of a nice neutrally toned brown is what I'm going for. So I have this Laura Geller set that I just got at TJ Maxx, and I actually filmed the haul of that, so you can check that out above if that's something that you're interested in seeing. I had found a lot of really good deals, but that's super not the point. So I'm going to be using this kind of mid-tone brown here, and I want to just start by working that into the crease. So I'm going to get kind of a fluffy brush here. And it doesn't have to be anything real intense, just to build up a little bit of dimension there. And I like to drag it kind of vaguely into a V shape. It is, of course, getting blended, so it's not like it's going to be a sharp V, but just kind of the general shape. And you don't necessarily have to add a lot more product, but just kind of drag what's there out into that V shape. And I'm just going to drag that underneath a little bit as well. Okay, and then next, I want to take this gold shade that's in the palette here, and again, none of these shades have to be specifically these ones, but just something similar. So this is kind of a more neutral toned gold. It's not super yellow, and I'm just going to get that on my finger and just pat that on the lid. And this type of look is definitely the easiest go-to look pulled together, like you spent a lot of time, but you've actually only spent 5 minutes before dashing out of the house trying to eat a granola bar as you're driving, but dropping it on the floor and hoping that you have some other kind of snack in your purse for later kind of looks. I realize it's a very specific situation, but I'm certain I'm not the only one out there that needs this type of look from time to time. And then I'm going to grab that brush again, just blend the edges. Often with this type of look, I'll do a black liner, but to make it just a little bit different, just a little bit more fun, I'm going to be using this blue shade here. So again, it's the shade I got in my Ipsy Top Out, and it looks very bright and kind of shimmery and bold when it's in the pan here, but when I swatch it, honestly, it has a very black undertone to it. So if you kind of spread it out, you can see it is obviously blue, but the more that you spread it, the more kind of dark and almost blackish that it starts to look as compared to some other blues that I have in my collection. For example, in the Blue Moon palette, there's another really bright shade, Tide Pool, but when you blend that one out, it has a much lighter base to it. So just kind of as a point of comparison. Anyway, for that reason, when I use it as a liner, I know that it is going to be blue, but because it has that really dark undertone to it, it's not going to be quite as bold as you might expect. So I'm going to find a makeup post-it to wipe this off before everything in my life turns blue. And then I'm going to grab a liner brush here. Just dip that into the shade Top Out. And then we'll just start drawing that along the lash line. And it doesn't have to be very thick to make an impact. So I'm going to keep it fairly close to the lash line there. And I'm not going to take it all the way across. I typically will start basically right where my pupil is where I like to start that liner. And I'm just gonna drag that into a little bit of a wing. And just the fact that we're using an eyeshadow to do liner as opposed to like a liquid liner or a gel, already it's gonna be more diffused and softer. And so for that reason too, it's not quite as bold. And if you wanted it to be even less bold, instead of winging it out, you could just stop it right at the end of your lashes. But I like color, so. Okay, so honestly, that's totally where you could stop if you just wanted to do a very, very simple look using the blue eyeliner, or a very simple look using the blue shadow that's not like too crazy or anything. Personally though, I wanna do just a little bit more. So I'm gonna reach into my Blue Moon palette here, and I'm gonna grab this highlighting shade Lumi. And it looks pretty white in the pan, but it's definitely got a strong blue shift to it. I'm just gonna grab a little bit on my pinky, and I'm gonna add that to the inner corner. And then personally, I wanna add just a little bit brighter blue. Again, if you're not quite sure about using the blue shadow, you could totally skip this part. But I'm gonna grab some of this really dark navy shade, Clued In, and I'm gonna run that really closely to my bottom lash line, but I'm gonna keep it on about the outer third. So it just adds a little bit of definition. And that's it as far as shadow goes. So I'm just gonna add some mascara. Still using my Stila Huge Extreme Lash. I know. I'm gonna end up with a glass eye or something, but I love this mascara and it's expensive, so. Okay, that'll do, pig. So that's my final look. I love how this turned out. It's definitely a little bit different, a little bit fun, but I still feel like it's overall very neutral, especially for how bright of a blue that was. So I hope that you found this helpful. I hope that you might like trying this look yourself. I think it's super fun, and it's definitely a good way to use a shadow like this where maybe you wouldn't otherwise. So I hope you enjoyed, and I hope I see you again soon. Bye.